Well, it's a pretty messy job, but somebody's got to do it. Welcome to Accountable Conversations. I am your host, Dr. Henry L. Logan, and I'm so happy to have you, my family, and friends here on Facebook and YouTube here with me on today. Be sure to make sure you like this video. Be sure to make sure you share this video. Be sure to make sure you comment on this video because I absolutely want to hear from you. All right, real quick. I just want to have a little chat session real quick because Scripture says in Revelation, the 12th chapter, verse 11, that we are overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. Many times we don't get the result of being free from some things because we decide to keep our mouths shut. And so I want to try something different on today, even though um, I have talked about this thing before, and as you can see, it's right here behind me. Um, However, this is my first actual year acknowledging it. What do I mean by acknowledging uh, this? So it was October the 22nd, uh, my birthday, quite a few years ago, that I wound up taking um, a test in order to, just check all of my blood work, go through medical history and all of that. And I was extremely confident that nothing would be found, nothing would take place, mainly because I had gotten out of the United States Navy. And when going through the separation process to be sent back home, they make you go through these different tests as well. So I had just literally had blood work done. Um, and yeah, things were fine. So, uh, for there to come 2 months later, my doctor saying to me that I needed to take this test. Of course, I'm like, oh, cool. Nothing's going to be found on this. Um, However, what had not ever really been told was a molestation and rape that I had gone through. Um, for the sake of the person, I'm not going to reveal who that is. But come to find out that later on, after getting the diagnosis of being HIV positive, mind you, I took that on my birthday, October the 22nd. Um, However, it wasn't until this day, Halloween, which is also my sister's birthday. Um, it was Halloween that I wound up getting the news of being HIV positive. Um, that information came from um, my doctor's office, of course, but the way we kind of tried to prepare me for the news, or they wanted to prepare me for the news, was um, by having the nurse there to chat with me, which at that particular time, I had been knowing her for quite a while. Not only that, but she was also my personal armor bearer for quite a few years. So, who better um, to break that news than her, along with uh, my mother? Initially, when finding out about the news, I was a little traumatized and taken aback, mainly because, as I said, I found out about this on Halloween. However, as stated previously, I had been tested 2 months prior to that. and everything was cool. So it just kind of threw me off because I was overly confident that um, nothing would be found. Had no reason to believe that anything would be found. Um, but something was found. Um, this year, my birthday, I have not enjoyed my birthday since the age of 21. It just seemed like every birthday um, didn't matter to me after like getting a diagnosis, because in my mind, uh, with having little information really on HIV/AIDS, I looked at it as, oh, this is now just the death sentence. I'm not going to have a child. I'm not going to be able to be in a relationship, because who wants to explain um, that they have HIV, and who wants to explain how it was contracted, and who wants to go through that whole thing of letting someone know that I contracted this because of a violation, not because I was out here slutting myself out. So for years, I literally was like in denial. Like, yes, I knew I had it, and if I was going to be with a partner sexually, um, I knew definitely you have to make this known. But I decided that no, I'd rather not date or do anything, because I was not comfortable um, with saying that I had HIV. I was afraid of being shunned. I was afraid of, you know, as I said, just how life would turn out. So, as many of us may do within the church realm, you learn how to hide things. You learn how to mask things. Um, you learn how to hold in pain and secrets, all for the sake of acceptance and being relevant of sorts. So, that being said, I watched people over the years who also I have found out had HIV/AIDS, and many of them are dead and gone. Um, and I figured I needed to get on video today to do this, because I had to think within myself for a moment. How long are you going to allow the enemy and yourself to play with your mind every Halloween, to the point where I kind of lock myself away because I don't want to deal with October the 31st, because it's a constant reminder of one of the worst days of my life. Like my godfather, he passed a few years ago, and one thing that bonded us was finding out about his status, and he was the one who helped me to deal with things and cope with things and would be there. And so when he left off the scene, Alan Jones, when he left off the scene, that was kind of hurtful. I kind of felt lost, didn't know really what to do anymore, who to trust with the information. Um, it wasn't until last year one of my brothers did a video, um, Mr. Kevin DeAndre, and in this video he was talking about um, how people he thought would be there wasn't there, and he was going through certain things in his mind. And as I watched my brother um, go through those emotions, and he's been so open even about his uh, HIV story, that broke my heart. Number one, that he was going through that, but at the same time, him revealing that what he didn't realize was it was actually giving me strength, because I understood exactly where Kevin was in that video. And so him talking about his story made me be like, one day I will just be able to sit down and talk about the story without crying, without having certain angers or chaotic emotions because of not settling certain things within my heart, within my life, within my spirit. You cannot ask for people to be real with you if you're not being real with yourself. So, watching Kevin do that last year, it made me think about being true to myself, and that I had never really sat down and resolved in myself what I was feeling, why I was feeling, um, and where this first started to take root within my life. You can't uproot something until you know where it starts at. Then I can go in to uproot it. Um, Another person who blessed me, who actually is the reason why I'm doing this video tonight, and um, I really, um, really appreciate this young man, Dre. I'm not going to do the last name, but Dre had put on there about him being diagnosed with um, HIV and his journey along this. And in reading his status, that status the other day blessed my life, um, because what it said to me is it didn't matter how long he had been dealing with it. The fact that he's still alive to even talk about it um, is a testament all in itself. So I thought back like to my 20s, and I'm like, okay, I've looked at it as a burden all the time and never looked at the flip side to it, of the blessing of still being alive. As I said, my godfather is gone. There have been people that I've dated who are gone. There have been close friends and brothers who I have adopted who um, didn't even know that they were dealing with it until things had gotten too bad. They had not been taking medications, they had not been doing what was needed. Thank you to Dr. Hassan, Dr. Aziz Hassan, which is my infectious disease doctor, who makes sure that I keep my little butt uh, taking my medicines. And I'm on a medicine called Biktarvy. Um, haven't had complications. Used to be on a triplet, but now on a medicine called Biktarvy, and have been undetectable for years. So that within itself is a testimony that No matter how it came about, no matter what has gone on, no matter who I've seen taken off the scene, God kept me alive all of these years for a purpose. And not only for a purpose, but for his pleasure. So to DeAndre, thank you, bro. I I really, really, really appreciate you. I appreciate God using you to remind me to stop thinking about what I've lost and focus in on what I still have left, what I'm still living through. So I'm excited tonight. I just had to say this tonight because, like I said, Scripture says that we overcome by our words, the word of our testimony. When you're able to say what God has brought you through, it's a signal to the enemy that, listen, I got my mind and I'm getting it set right back where it needs to be. And where it needs to be is in the place of knowing that my God is able. I'm not going to say able to do. My God is able. If we just want to end this live right here, God is. So whatever you need him to be, hear me today. God is making a promise to you through the prophet of clarity that he is, and he is everything that you need. And so, would you trust him again today? Like, that's what this is all about. I got on here to tell you, I don't care how long you've dealt with whatever, you're still here living through it. I said a few weeks ago, it's time to fight for your life. I'm saying it again. It's time to fight for your life. God has much in store for you. And I'm excited to see you come to your expected end. All right. I love you all. I will see you soon. You'll probably see me 2, maybe 3 times this week. Who knows? All right. But I love you. Have a good night. Talk to you soon. Deuces.